Hello, hello, hello. So, to do the next in our series on bodies and body armor combinations, I want to look at UNP. Now, for terminology purposes, we have to realize, just like there is a class of bodies based on CBBE, there are a class of bodies based on UNP. So we have to be careful of our terminology. There is UNP, which 7-base, UNPB, and Seraphim, and what else? There's a bunch of different bodies that are based in UNP, such as the TMB, and the Pyrocast body, and Spartan's body, Spartan's thick body. Those are all based in UNP. UNP is a class, just like the Nephilim is based out of CBBE, because CBBE is a different class. But here I want to specifically look at the basic or standard UNP body that the other UNP bodies, those classes like 7-base and, Beautiful Mistress and all those others, are based on, okay? So, the basic UNP body, there's several different mods out here that you can use for that. There's actually quite a few, more than I originally had realized. For instance, this mod has a UNP body mesh, and it's a smaller. It's not like the UNPB, which is blessed, which means they have, bigger boobs, and I think they might have a little more, just a little more, but not a lot. But this is just a smaller, thinner mesh. But that doesn't mean it's super thin, but I just mean, because it depends on the body mesh you use. This one is from Ashara. From the pictures, this looks thinner than some of the others. And this one is a mesh with very small textures. It says reduced textures. But to me, this mod is so small, you could say it has no textures. There's this version, which is a little bigger and has HD textures. Now, these mods have been around a while. And again, this is from Ashara, using the UNP body, and they tell you some about it. Now, I want to show you some other body options, and then we'll get into looking at some of the armor options, okay? So, bear with me. There's a lot of mods to go through, and I'm going to edit this down so that you don't have to see me scrolling through all of this. Alright, so this is a UNP body and face renewal by Modder725. And this has some skin textures and things built in. And it does support BBP, and you need an XP32 skeleton. You'll notice the other mods didn't mention that, so I doubt they support that. So they also did a body fit here armor replacer for it, which we'll come back to that. Now I want to move on because there's some more variations of this body I want to show you real fast. So here's another version of this body. Now this has some textures again built into it. And this is from Modder725. But it looks good. And it just depends on what you like. Now, I'm going to show you the one I used. I use this one most all the time because it has no textures. It does have that, I would prefer to have, it has that white underwear. I would prefer to have that black underwear. But, you manage with whatever you have. So this UNP body here is the one you'll generally see me using because it has no textures. It's a very small mod. And it works very well, and it looks very good. Okay? So I want you to be aware of that. Now, there are some other mods that actually include or have built-in UNP body meshes, but I'm not quite sure, like the Divine mods, I'm not quite sure, and the Dark Ages mod, they say they're using UNP body meshes, but I'm not sure if they specifically mean the basic UNP body like this, or if they mean like Ashara's, or if they mean something else. But some of those do mention that they have built in their own bodies. So, And that's kind of like the tempered skins that I use a lot of times. They have their own bodies for the guys. Now, I don't know if the girls do, but I just wanted to mention that. All right, so I don't remember any other UNP-based body mods at this moment. Now, I'm talking about just the basic. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. See, terminology will get us. What I meant was any of the basic UNP bodies like this. We still have others to look at as far as 7 base and all the different varieties go. But as far as the basic UNP body, I think these are the mods that we can really look at. And you'll notice there's Ashara's mods, and there's Modder 725 here. And I haven't tried Ashara's mods, honestly. I've only tried like these from Modder 725, and they work well. Now, I want to show you some of the armor replacers we have that fits this specific body style, okay? Alright, so the first one I want to show you is this UNP female armor refitted. Now this is for that UNP body. This was done by Fluffin. This is an older mod, but it's 134 megabytes and there's no more custom body. It's using the basic UNP body, and you'll notice here they say unpretended, redefined, whatever. Anyway, it's the basic UNP body. That's the idea, okay? And this just refits the vanilla outfits. This is not in any way skimpy or anything like that. It's just a basic refit so that the armor and the clothing looks good with that body and makes sense, okay? Alright, so beyond that, we're going to find a few other things of interest. Alright, so one thing of note here, this is not a replacer, but it's a big add-on, is the Book of UUNP. Now this is the UNP version, and it says petite body, so it's made for, I think, a slimmer size of the UNP body, but still it's made for that body, and these pictures are coming from using that body. So just wanted to show you that. Now it is an add-on, it is not a replacer, so I want to make sure I make that clear. The exception is guard armors. Some of the guard armors are messed with and replaced, so be aware if you use this, you don't want to remove it. In the middle of the game, you'll have a bunch of guards running around in their underwear if you do. But for the most part, it is primarily an armor add-on. But I wanted to mention this to you, is it's an old mod, a big mod, but it is a good mod. Another mod I want to make sure to point out to you is the Terra Armors collection. It's another add-on, and this is for the UNP. It has vanilla females and males, but it's a UNP. It requires a UNP texture. Don't use CBBE. It's based in UNP, and it says vanilla females and males. I think it's more fitted to the vanilla, but nonetheless, it's a UNP edition, and I think it would go well with that basic UNP body. So just wanted to mention that. Now this is Divine Skins, which also includes a UNP mesh. You'll notice down in the comments. So just if you were wondering about this in any way, this includes a UNP mesh as well as textures and things. Now it's not the kind of thing I would typically use, but if you're interested in it and you want to know what kind of body it's using a UNP mesh. Is that a custom mesh or is that the basic? I've always assumed it's the basic UNP body like we're looking at right now, but it could be some custom mesh that I don't know about. So just to mention that. Now here's another version of Divine Skins, and you notice it says and bodies, and that's because it has, again, UNP meshes and special skins, so it definitely does have a UNP mesh and skins. Again, I don't know if it could be custom. Sounds like it's the basic UNP body, so we'll move on. Alright, to go with this UNP body, you have a UNP body fit armors and clothing from Modder 725, and they included the animation, and you do need an XP32 skeleton. So just something to be aware of, that they did this mod here to go with body they also ported over or brought into the game. Okay, so this is one of the vanilla It's just a vanilla armor replacer, okay? So you're still going to have pretty much vanilla looking armors. There's not anything unusual about it. It's just fitted to this body. One thing I want to mention to you is this Amazing World of Bikini Armor. It says it's UNP, but I find that this body shape for these armors is much more like 7 base or 7 base OPI. It's really not just the basic UNP. That doesn't mean it's bad, and you can still use this, but you'll notice here it says UNP, then it says 7 base OPI body shape. So just be aware of that. Even though you could use this with that body, you may find some issues if you don't use an OPI body with this mod. So, but it says UNP, so I wanted to let you know that's a little misleading. This is really a 7 base OPI body shape, okay? Alright, so the Dark Ages skins, it says here, but it really does include, and it tells you down here in the meshes, it does include a UNP style female mesh. How much it is like the UNP body we're looking at, I don't know. Or if it's their own custom mesh, or if it's closer to vanilla, they don't really say. But I just wanted to mention this as it claims to have a UNP style body mesh. This is not something I would typically use, but if you like this type of thing, you might like it, and if you realize it's that style, that will help you to know what textures and different things to associate with it. Now here's a clothing pack, Wix Clothing Pack UNP. This was ported over by Master V, and it has 56 items made for the UNP body. So this might be something that you would look at and say, okay, this is for the UNP body. It's not for any of the other variations that there are out there, okay? So just wanted to mention that. I don't know if this is anybody's thing, but this would be something that would go with that body pretty good. Alright, so here is another UNP. It's an armor and clothing refit or refitter. Now this is from a different modder, Start a Core Xbox, and it's about 99 megabytes. I did do a show on this, and you can look at it, and I think that this was pretty good. There might have been some clipping in some of the clothing, but you would have to look at it and see again. It's been a while, but it definitely includes the Dawn Guard and the Dragonborn and all that stuff. Now, I don't remember there being any major issue, but this is not anything different either. This is still vanilla. There's no skimpiness or anything weird about it. It's just like good vanilla armor fitted to this body, okay? Now here is something else to note. In the Northern Warrior skin, these are 2 newer mods. If we look in here, these contain a UNP body mesh for females. So it doesn't say that there's anything different than the ones we're already looking at as far as the bodies. But this is a body and skin mesh. I mean, a body mesh and a skin texture. So if you used this, you wouldn't necessarily need that other body mod. So just something to think about. I don't know. This looks kind of odd to me, but I haven't done a show on this. This is pretty new, but I did want to mention this, that it's here, and it may be something you could look at. You'll notice it has a texture built in with it, okay? So there's a number of things here. It's not just the body. So I want you to be aware of that. And they have 2K and 4K versions if you wanted like 4K. So it looks a little odd to me in their pictures, but it may make perfect sense when you get it in the game. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. So just something to be aware of, that it does use the UNP body, and it appears to have its own textures and everything. Alright, so I want to kind of end the show and kind of wrap things up here. For the UNP body, the basic UNP body without all the other stuff, that's pretty much what I'm seeing out here on Bethesda. Now, I did not go over every little mod that is UNP or that says it fits the UNP body, because there's just way too many. There's no way we're going to be able to cover all that. I'm going to try to cover as many variations of the UNP body, like Seraphim and 7-base and all those. I'm going to try to cover those as best I can and do a show on each of those and try to show what's available for them. None of this is going to be perfect. I may have missed something. If I miss something, let me know in the comments, and I will come back and I'll try to do an update or an add, an extension, and kind of fix that up. But this is like the oldest refitted UNP armor mod out here. As far as I know, it's a good one. I haven't done a show on that, and this is some of the oldest bodies. Is this the body you would want, or would you prefer the one by Modder725 that I use? That's really up to you. But I've tried to show you all the options I could for the body combination and the armor replacers that are available. Now there's a bunch of little mods, just one of mods that you can use. And I do want to mention one thing. If it's UNP, if you're using the UNP body, another body type that you can mix a lot of times with this is if it's UNPB, because there's not a huge amount of difference between the two bodies. It's primarily like the boobs are a little bigger. That's the biggest thing, and there might be a little difference in the booty. But these two, you can pretty much, like if you're using the UNP body, you could probably use a UNPB based outfit and it wouldn't be a big deal. That's what I'm getting at. Usually, most of the times, you don't want to mix body types and armor types, but occasionally you can do it and get away with it. And sometimes if you're willing to accept the fact that you're going to break maybe the wrist and the ankle, and you're going to wear gloves and boots and cover that up, you can get away with even more craziness. But you prefer to keep it close, like UNP body, and try to use like things that are really made for that body. And then like if you're using the UNPB body, you want to try to use things for that body. Definitely 7-base is a different thing because it has more curviness, and I wouldn't suggest mixing it with the UNP basic body because I think there's more chance of incompatibility and like breaking the ankles and breaking the wrists and things like that you may not like. So try to be as close as you can and try to pick a body that really suits what you want. Try not to mix too much different body type armors in. If you're going to try something like that, test it and see what you think of it. Don't like devote your whole game to that one thing where you have two things that aren't really totally compatible. So just a warning there. But you can tend to intermix UNP, the basic UNP, and the UNPB body stuff. You can usually intermix that. Now this Demon 99, which is a UNP body and says it is UNP body like it's the basic. It says it's fully compatible because it is the UNP body. So that makes it sound like it's the basic one. I haven't tried this one out myself, but it reminds me very much of Modder725's body, and it probably would be fine. This one either has a very small texture or no real texture. Maybe I'll try this out at some point and see what we get. But nonetheless, for the UNP body, the basic UNP body, this is pretty much all I'm seeing out here. Again, let me know if I've missed something, okay? Alright. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you later. So I want to acknowledge these people who donate to the channel, who support the channel. They put their money where their mouth is, and I really do appreciate that. So thank you to these folks, and thank you to everyone for watching and supporting the channel. This has been an OwwThatSmarts production.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much.